Hello there and welcome back to News Review, and now I am joined by our special guest on the show today, a friend to the show by the way and a very good friend of mine. Welcome to the Fatu Network News Review, Sabally, otherwise or aka Gambia's pen. I call him the marker by the way when we're in good terms. If not, I call him the pencil. But welcome to the Fatu Network News Review.
Thanks for having me.
Sabally, this is my last news review of 2020 and the last Wednesday of 2020. How do you reflect on this year? It's been quite a tough one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a tough year for practically everybody. You know, the coronavirus, of course, is going to define 2020. Lockdowns, loss of friends and relatives, economic slump down. It's been a tough year, but I think it's just Allah reminding us that His days do alternate. Allah does alternate His days for us. Some good, some not so good. By the end of the day, it's all a test. I believe by and large we've weathered this storm rather. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal.
From a political lens, how would you look at 2020?
Yeah, 2020 I think has not been very kind to the Gambian opposition, especially my party, the UDP. I think UDP took the lead in cancelling all our political activities, and our party leader actually taking the first step, demonstrating hand washing, our youth wing going around sensitization. We had to do a food bank. So it really, because UDP started the year on a flying note, and I think we'd have devastated Anwar Barrow and his horse party if it were not COVID. So Barrow actually what he did was he used COVID as a political weapon, locked down the country, whilst his people and his wife's foundation were going around corners taking rice to people. Barrow would lift the state of emergency, go and do a whirlwind tour, come back and lock down the country again. He just did one right now. Opened up the country, went for a tour. By the time he was approaching, there were rumors that when he comes, he's going to lock down the country. But that's why we wagged our finger at him that this time, if he locks the country, we are marching to State House.
So this has not been a very kind year. World economy is definitely not doing good, and Gambia's economy definitely is not an exception. From an economist point of view, what if you were to advise the Gambia government, what post-pandemic strategies would you advise them to start embarking on?
Well, really, I think I've trumpeted the cause for Keynesian macroeconomics from the onset, for the government to spend extra money to stimulate the economy and to direct those funds towards the productive sectors of the economy, which they do not do. Of late, I've seen them make certain moves which I think are counter-cyclical, and they should aid the economy, but I'm not going to elaborate on them to give them political mileage out of that, because they acted too late.
So now we have seen some of the sectors of the economy and how this pandemic has affected them. The tourism industry, for example, do you think that they will be able to recover from what is going on right now? There seems to be no season whatsoever, and it seems the minister is not outright telling the people that there is no tourism season this year.
Yeah, tourism, I think, is about just the hardest hit sector of the economy. And like you said, unfortunately, their minister, my good friend Ahmadi, is busy politicking instead of sitting down in his office and trying to rectify the errors in the system. That airport levy, they did $20 in, $20 out. It's like adding injury to insult. But what really broke my heart was to give this the workers in the industry, like, was it $50 per head? Really, I mean, it's like an insult when you're giving millions to the hoteliers, who we should expect to have more.
We've also seen Senegambia Hotel just stated yesterday that they have terminated the contracts of 41 of their staff.
Yes, I saw that, and I was really dismayed about it. I think government should take up the causes of some of these workers that are going to be laid off. If they can set aside billions for road construction to get votes from people, I think before you make roads for people to drive on, people need to get what to eat from. So the staff of the tourism industry, they need to be taken care of better. Unfortunately, even the little funds they got came from UN. What's the essence of a government? And they've been paying taxes into the state coffers. I think the Senegambia thing is just a signal that things are not right, and I hope the authorities take note of this and help our brothers and sisters in the industry.
So let's look at the tour now. Barrow has been on a tour for quite a while now. It seems that they have stopped now because of one of the demise of his drivers at the State House. What is your general overview of this entire tour? Because a lot of people are saying that, okay, this tour has been politicized. This was supposed to be a tour where you go out and listen to the people, to the Gambian people out there. How do you describe this?
I think the critics are right. One thing you can take from Barrow, he went on tour because it's a constitutional provision. And he's abusing it, of course, and that's why I hate it when a constitution becomes petty and goes into silly details like this. That kind of constitution is a bad constitution, and the one we rejected is even worse in terms of being petty and even telling the president which foot to take first and which foot to take second. I think constitution should be brief and concise, and my example is the American Constitution, one of the best ever in the world, and just about the shortest. So this constitutional provision of telling the president every single thing that he should do is wrong. But as they say, the law is an ass. The law gave Barrow the power to go, and he's practically riding this ass of the law. What really pained me, we know this Meet the Farmers talkers, that's what it was from the Jawara days. There's always a political element, but never in my lifetime has been this abuse. Barrow practically went on the NPP's first official nationwide rally tour. NPP paraphernalia, from the cars to the scarves, everything, every single spot Barrow does a rally is people cross-carpeting. You know, everywhere he goes, it's about bashing the opposition. I think he's brought us a new law. It's completely unconscionable to use state coffers to go on an all-out political nationwide tour when the very people you are supposed to visit to know about their problems are suffering. I just read Point newspaper, 28 December on Monday, reporting a story that the women of Soma Darussalam don't have water to drink. They have to trek like 2 kilometers. When Barrow was actually in Soma at the time. In fact, the Point reporter who did the report said that he was a part of the presidential tour party and he heard about it, he had to investigate. So Barrow goes in Soma, Mansakonko, spends 3-4 days with tons and tons of Evian water. If you converted the cost of the Evian water, you would have solved the problem of these poor women. Bad, unconscionable. This is really bad.
And we've also seen that where Ahmad Ba and Omar Sise had that whole thing going on, didn't actually have a market until after that entire situation happened, that the GDC stepped in to build a market for the women in that village. But Sars, let's look at the cabinet ministers who are behind the president during this entire Meet the People's Tour. And one who actually stood out is Ahmad Ba. What do you make of Ahmad Ba as many people would describe him as the new mouthpiece of the government? He's been saying a lot recently, saying more than the president actually.
To be fair to him, he should be the last we should criticize in terms of this political tour, because Hamad is a career politician. I mean, he said certain things that he should not have said, but we know Hamad. What I have a problem with more than even Hamad is Dr. Samate being in that tour whilst women are dying and their children are dying out of labor. But Gambians, we have a lot of hypocrites in our society. They will never mention Dr. Samate. Hamad Bangediap. He's a politician. Let him do what he does.
But do you think Samate has also become a politician?
Absolutely, without a doubt. You know, I criticize him here. Some people were defending him. We know Samate is now going into Kiang at night, telling the people of Kiang, you know, my people, they are not very smart like the Badibunkas. He's telling them that Barrow has investors who want to build hospitals in Kiang, but they will only build those hospitals if the people of Kiang vote for Barrow. Shame on Dr. Samate when our women are dying of child labor. He's busy politicking in Kiang.
And now that we've seen the number of maternal deaths, particularly these days, Sabally, yes. And we've also seen the president talking about a lot of projects, especially road projects. But do you think it's about time they also look at the health sector of this country?
Well, the health sector, I said these Gambians don't listen, but they will always see what I tell them. I said Dr. Samate is not fit to run the health ministry. And people are trying to, even whilst these women are dying from child labor, they don't want to talk about Dr. Samate, they just want to mention Barrow. The problem in our health sector is more of attitude than resources. I said it before, I say it today, I stand by it. It is a situation, I think Dr. Samate should just honorably resign and go and become a surgeon. This situation is going to get worse. The health situation of this country is going to get worse so long as Dr. Samate is health minister.
You know, for someone so opinionated, I haven't heard you say much about the rejected draft constitution,
Yes.
Sabally.
Yes.
So why is that?
Well, because I spoke ahead of time warning Gambians that this project is going to be messed up, but Gambians didn't listen. So when the situation came out of hand, a few journalists called me. I said, I'm not talking. Where were you when I was speaking? Where were you when I wrote an open letter to the chairman of the Constitutional Review Commission accusing him of having an ulterior motive? I had my views on the Constitution. I was on QTV. I wrote an open letter. I still stand by those views. Why they must say, wow. I was talking, people were sleeping. By the time they woke up, disaster. We have a problem. Only God can help us out of this constitutional crisis.
And then out of nowhere, someone appears to try to mediate the entire situation. We have the former president of Nigeria, Mr. Goodluck Jonathan.
It's a joke. It's the joke of the century. I think Barrow is taking the whole nation for a ride. You know, I'm still not going to take sides in this constitutional debate. As my personal opinion, I remain to keep quiet. Mr. President, I have not criticized you on this, but you cannot play games on Gambians. We all know, and I'm not making judgment out of here. What happened. Like I quoted my good friend Fode Samate, the only smart man from Kiang Jali, currently in New York. Democracy is a messy process. But when we came in 2071, we thought things are going to fall from the sky like manna. No! What happened at that National Assembly was democracy. People argued. Unfortunately, some of these so-called activists, and I call them Dalasivists, exposing phone numbers of MPs who dissented so that they can be. It's wrong. This is democracy. People have disagreed so much. The lesson we failed to learn was to negotiate. But everybody stood at their corner. It's my way or the highway. What's happened? We are all in trouble now. But for Barrow to come and pretend that he wanted this process to work, that got to me. Mr. President, don't play games with us. And of all the ex-presidents they could have engaged, sleeping Goodluck Jonathan is going to come and help solve sleeping Adama Barrow's problems. I'm glad the attitude that the opposition took when Goodluck Jonathan came here. That's the joke of the century.
I know it was a closed-door meeting, but I'm told one of the party leaders stood and told the president that you are here in our country eating chicken and staying in a hotel, and our people are out there suffering, you know. Yes. Yeah, but that's actually...
My congratulations to that party leader, because Goodluck is a joke and Barrow is trying to play with us. Let him not play with us. My word on this constitutional debate. I've decided to refrain from getting into the debate, and I stay with that. I'm not criticizing Barrow. I'm not criticizing his opponents. I remain neutral on the constitutional issue, but I think the democratic process should be allowed to go on. All I ask of President Barrow is to make sure we have free, fair elections in 2021, and that nobody is excluded from this process, and that he doesn't use the bad laws that were here to try to exclude people from the election. If he does it, we'll have a problem in this country. I want to be on the record for that. Yes. Let's have free and fair elections, regardless of which constitution comes in. Let's make sure the draconian laws that were left here to clip people and keep them out of the political race, let them drop it and allow people to contest freely. Whoever wins will respect the verdict. Anything less than that will be in trouble. And I'm being very euphemistic, by the way.
And talking about elections, Sabally, just recently I read a story where someone actually stood in front of the president at a meet the people's store, I don't want to call it a rally, and said that...
It's a rally. Barrow said it's a rally. He was in Faraf and he said, so I'm quoting the president, your boss.
Not my boss, by the way. And then this
He's
guy...
the CEO of the country.
This guy, and then this guy said, let's stick to the topic, please. And then this guy said, well, Senegal and Gambians have been known to have the longest relationships, and then he said something to the effect of, we can allow Senegalese people to vote here now. I don't know if his saying was lost in translation or something, but what do you make of statements like that?
Nothing was lost in translation. What I read from this platform, Adama Barrow has an intention to rig this election. Adama Barrow has the intention to register aliens in this country to participate in this election. And if he does it, and there is trouble in this country, nobody would be blamed but Adama Barrow. Let him stop this. It's not going to work. It's not gonna. These are some of the things that people have been crying about all over. You come up with your so-called new Gambia. It's not gonna happen. So the president should take note of this. People are talking about this in all the fora on social media. And Senegalais, suñ mbokk yi génne leen seen gaming si suñ election. Guinean yi génne leen seen gémmiñ ci suñu election. This is a Gambian election. We don't interfere in your elections. Billahi wallahi tallahi. We are not going to allow foreigners to interfere in our election, inshallah.
Well, I've also seen a video making rounds on social media about a Senegalese woman, commenting on Gambian politics, and there's been an outrage and backlash regarding that video. What do you have to say about it?
That's yabate of the highest order. So suma mbokki Senegalais génne leen seen gémmiñ suñu election. And I think Adama Barrow should stop this because they are operating on his platform. We want peace in this country. We want peaceful elections, but we are not going to compromise the ethos of free and fair elections. Anybody, mbokki Sénégalais, maa ngi leen a woon nag mbokki Guinéen yi nga xam ne bugga ngeen a dugga suñ wote bi fii ku fi dugga si suñ wote loo si góob rek yow yaa ko utal sa bopp. I'm saying this, and it's going to happen, inshallah. Let them try and interfere in our election and see.
You know, this could become really, really bad if it happens.
Absolutely.
Because just yesterday, I was going through some comments on social media, and someone said, if this is something that's going to happen, we're not just going to stay and sit back and use words. We are going to get out there and make sure that it stops.
And I will encourage that, actually. Words are not enough, because I think the government knows that Gambia will talk about issues. After a few days, they'll stop. This thing, this is like a liberation war now, because bringing foreigners in our election is like throwing away our sovereignty to the dogs. We're not going to accept it. And you don't be surprised if you see me in the field myself.
And then Sabally, okay, now let's talk about the real politics here. Let's talk about your party, the UDP.
The biggest political party.
How was the Congress, by the way?
Fantastic. Record. I mean, it's never happened in the history of the country. I spoke to an old man, 85 years plus. He's been in politics all his life. He said, I've never seen anything like this. Congratulations to our party leader and Secretary General. Kudos to the mighty Yellow Army.
You sound like Donald Trump.
We are the best.
You sounded like Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know about that. You know, I am Momodou Sabally, unique in my own way. Kana song is my brand. That's better than Trump.
Sabs, let's talk about the recently concluded UDP Congress.
You said that before.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Now, a lot of people after the Congress were actually trying to make fun that while you came to the UDP and now look, you didn't even have a position. Out of 1,000 delegates, no one nominated you. And they're saying even people who came before you into the party were given positions. How do you respond to that? And of course, I saw some response from the UDP camp saying, oh, now you guys are trying to be hypocrite, trying to change his mind and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's the haters and detractors of UDP who want to create this confusion from within. When I joined UDP about a year ago, and I made my statement in front of the party leader and the whole world, Fatu Network was there. I said, I'm not going into that party to look for any position. So, and I still stand by that. And actually, in the Congress, a group of people came behind me and wanted to nominate me, and I told them no. I mean, like, I've gone beyond the level where I'd be running after positions in this country. Really, I mean, our Secretary General, Minister of Presidential Affairs, Minister of the Civil Service, Secretary General of the ruling party at the same time, APRC. I mean, I've been there, done it. So I'm just there to serve my people, and I believe UDP is the best platform. I'm not there for look for positions. UDP, they love me and appreciate me today more than ever, and nobody can place a wedge between Momodou Sabally and the great citizens and patriots of the mighty United Democratic Party. We are one. Can killing. That's our slogan. So
what are the chances of the UDP winning the 2021?
Well, by default, if we had elections today, Usainu Dabo would be at the State House. You didn't look at our crowd at the rally. I mean, one of the biggest musicians ever in the history of the country stood and said he's never stood before a crowd like that in the history of this country. We are ready. Today, we are even more ready a year from now, because you know we are not joking. My party leader is just on the way coming from up country. I was crisscrossing between Kiang, Jara, and Badibu and Kombo East over the weekend. We are the best and the baddest.
We've seen you actually engaging in some grassroots politics, going out there and talking to the people.
I just love engaging with the real people of this country.
And right at the beginning of the Congress, something happened which brought about the whole Ahmadi issue.
You are not tired yet, right?
No, I am not, because we're going to do this today. And then you came with your own response, and you said that it was jumbled up by the moderator of the program.
Yes.
Al-Mametar was the moderator.
I didn't even use that word, by the way.
Okay.
Because I'm very careful. That's Lamin Jai's word. and our party base feel that he's against, or he's our against, if I may use Bakso's word. I'm very careful what words I use. Look, I have a voice in this country. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. People listen to me beyond politics. I have a voice in the religious circles of this country. Like some really highly respected imams and Islamic scholars would sit down and wait what Momodou Sabally would say on an issue. It was a religious issue, and the party came under attack by our detractors mainly, but those in the religious camps also were asking questions. I mean, there was an Arabic group, I think it's called Siyasa wal Akhbar. They filled a question, Ainal Momodou Sabally? Where is Momodou Sabally in all of this? He always speaks for Islam. It was an Islamic issue. I tried to refrain out of decorum because I'm part of the United Democratic Party. If something like that happens, I'd rather give the party the lead to make a statement because I am not an official executive member of the party. I was there. So at some point, I felt it was necessary for me to come with my personal opinion. Momodou Sabally, there are many Momodou Sabalys. There's Momodou Sabally, youth worker. There's Momodou Sabally, the politician. There's Momodou Sabally, the Taliban. And there I'm speaking as a Taliban, as a religious person who believes in defending my religion. I came out to explain. Because some people deliberately, NPP, try to distort this. They even said the lie, and it's a lie, Fen Laman Makowa, Puruwane, Ahmadi, and Nyojo UDP Halis to fund our Congress because we didn't have money and because of we signed it. It's a lie, it's not true. So I came in with my personal statement, and I actually put emphasis on the personal because it is my statement, not the official statement of the party. I was there sitting front row. When this thing happened, I saw that the moderator made an error. And the moderator himself came back to try to correct an error. So that's what I clarified. It was not the UDP's official position to have the Ahmadis lead prayers in a situation where most of the people there are mainstream Muslims, because that would have been undemocratic. And we are a party that believes in democracy. So I just tried to clarify that this is not anything to do with what our haters and detractors were trying to peddle. And I was speaking on my own. I love my Islam, mashallah. I'm ready to do anything to defend my religion. But I also respect the rights of other people to worship God as they see fit. I don't have a problem with that. But when an error happens like this and people are trying to use it to make an entity like UDP bad, I felt I had a responsibility to come and share with the public what I knew of the situation. And that was it. Khalas, end of story.
Now let's talk about media a little bit, and I want to have your opinion on this just because you've served as the Director General of GRTS some time ago. We've seen the President made some comments recently, and this has angered a lot of people in the media fraternity.
Are you angry?
This is not about me. I said people, the other people.
You said media?
Yes. Let's just exclude me for a moment. Let's talk about
You're no longer a journalist?
And then he said, he said something to the effect of the media being biased. Now, back to 2016, a lot of Gambians actually credited the ousting of, President Jammeh thanks to, social media and the impact that it had during that period. What do you make of the president making statements like this? A lot of people will say, you don't fight the media as a president. And some people will say the reason why Donald Trump has been out today is because of the war he created between him and the media. So what do you make of statements like this?
Well, I think President Barrow, I wish I could say he made a mistake, but I believe it's deliberate. I think he's trying to I don't know who is suhluing, trying to bring in questions here, but I'm not answering any foreign questions from Lamin Jai, by the way. But back to the topic, Omar Wali, and stay out of this also. I'm exposing you to the public. By the way, so I think President Barrow is kind of trying to attack the media in a very subtle way, but I think it's wrong, it's bad. I think our media is fair and balanced. I feel that Lamin Jai is against my party. I feel that Lamin Jai supports NPP. So, I mean,
really? But
that's what I feel.
A lot of people say he's UDP, by the way.
Well, go do a survey on Facebook and see whether Lamin Jai is UDP. Listen to our people. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't think the media is supporting the opposition. I sit down here, you grill me. Lamin Jai grills me. Sometimes people think I have a personal problem with Lamin Jai because he asks me tough questions, even about my party. I think the media are doing their work. I think the playing field is quite level. I think it's wrong for President Barrow to make these kind of statements because the media really suffered here in the previous regime, and the media was part of his campaign arsenal. Practically almost the entire media went and supported Barrow. I think it's unnecessary. Let Barrow, I think he has enough enemies. Let him not add the media to it, but let him do it because it will be easier for us to uproot him. Let's do it.
What do you make of his Minister of Information?
Ibrahimovic is a disaster, complete failure for somebody who was serving a serving journalist, who claimed that he was kicked out of the country by President Jammeh. And he comes back, and he is the chief censor of this country. He started off with Gis. He kicked us out of GRTS just because we were saying certain things that he did not like. And all these things, when Barrow made that statement, one would have expected Ibrahimovic to come out, or at least go to Barrow and tell him. I think Ibrahimovic is failing miserably. I think he no longer believes in press freedom. I think he no longer has the intention or the passion to support the media. And his boss has started this war. I believe he's part of it. But Gambian media, if you can fight,
but then how about Pura? How about Pura in this whole thing when they came out with that statement saying that they are going to start regulating things when people go, when I don't know, something like that. But what do you make of their statement? I was actually talking to someone and the person said, I think Pura is being pressured from the top. Is that something that you believe?
That's quite interesting, and some actually ascribed it to my virulent interviews with Ibrahim Ajara of what's the name? King FM. We have some, I mean, on several occasions, I would be on air live, being interviewed by Ibrahim, and Nawek light would go off. It cannot be an accident. On several occasions, Ahmadi Sane, our former finance minister, is in. For Pura, I just see them as toothless bulldogs. I don't think they can do it, but let them not allow President Barrow to use them to try to cripple the press, and I choose my words carefully, to try to, you can never cripple the press. That era is over.
Yeah, especially now that digital media is taking over.
Absolutely.
Sabs, what are you looking forward to in 2021?
Well, I look forward to a very exciting year of really interesting politics. I think it's going to be a very tough battle in 2021. I hope it all happens in peace and tranquility. And I believe all of that depends on Adama Barrow. Because if he wants to mess up with the electoral laws to try to disenfranchise certain people, it's going to backfire. If he tries to muzzle the press like they are trying to do, it's going to backfire. If he tries to bring in Senegalese and Guineans to vote here, there will be violence in this country. I don't pray for it. I've never advocated for it. But if we see like what's happening in Senegal, the game of what's in politics, we're going to go, man, gloves off. It's not going to happen here. But I hope post-COVID that the economy will recover. I see certain moves happening around the world. I think the global economy is going to recover. I hope businesses will be better. And I pray for you that Barrow doesn't jail you because he's threatening you guys already.
Let's say he wins in 2021. Yes. What would that mean
for
the Gambia? By the way, people are saying if Barrow wins, that's the end of your party.
Well, how many times did Yahya Jammeh win? Like 4 or 5 times, and UDP never ended. Why would the sleeping bus drivers one win kill the party? But doing fadud egasa, ñun dañ win be pare. We are just waiting for the formality of going to the polls. End of story. I'm telling you, lawyer Dawe Bankota, and we will make it happen, inshallah.
Sabs, what do you have to say to your... By the way, you're asking Omar to stay out of this.
Yeah, Omar Wali, yeah, he should stay out of this.
No, because people are asking... people are asking, before I wrap up, I have to go back to that Ahmadi thing. Are you suggesting that Ahmadis are not Muslims?
I'm not even going to comment on that. I've made my statement about what happened at the Congress. I stop at that. I'm not an Islamic scholar. What happened was a mistake. It was a mistake. That's what I wanted to clarify. I clarified it. End of story. I don't have the... I'm not in a position of authority to make certain rulings. I leave those issues with the scholars. I'm not a scholar. Man taluwela dumasiri.
And what do you have to say to the Gambian people before we go?
Well, I love you all, man. It's been a brilliant year. We're looking forward to 2021. I hope we do it in peace and, enjoy your life. This politics thing, it comes and goes, but this is a beautiful country, a real oasis in a desert, smiling coast. Even though Barrow is trying to make us cry, but let's...
And what do you have to say to Barrow,
His Excellency, I wish him a Happy New Year in advance, and I wish him peace, I like Barrow. I don't have a personal problem with him. I just want him, I'm just begging you, Mr. President, make sure we have free, fair elections and let the game be clean. Don't play any funny games. If the rules are clear, elections are free and fair, if he wins, I will congratulate him. But we don't want a problem in this country. And politics is right now in the veins of Gambians. The level of political activism in this country has never happened before. So let's just make sure the rules are clear and fair and we abide by them. Other than that, Happy New Year, Gambia. Happy New Year, President Barrow. I hope your party loses because I want UDP to win. Yes.
Thank you very much, Momodou Sabally, aka Gambia Spencers. Thank you very much for coming through to the Fatu.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having me, you, Lamin Jai, and Fatu Kamara, my own good sister. It's been quite an eventful year at Fatu Network. Congratulations and keep up the good work. I think you are one of the truly, truly independent media houses in this country. I say that and I can defend it.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes. Look at that. Sabally, you know, giving compliments. Thank you very much. we appreciate it. Well, that will be it for News Review today. And this is my last News Review for the year. And tomorrow we'll wrap it up, of course, by our editor-in-chief. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.